stalking me.
All right, and we're back. Welcome to another episode of the We Love Gaming podcast. I'm Godly Sovereign.
Hey guys, it's Markariah here.
What's up? This is Ray, aka Sirknight.
And we got a couple things to talk about, so let's jump right into them. First things first.
Ghost of Tsushima, man. We got lots of games coming out this month.
Yeah, it's about 3 solid games that's coming out this month.
This is week, actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got more
this
this
week,
month,
yeah,
but this
that's the
week,
one.
like literally this Friday.
Yeah, so we got Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep.
We got Paper Mario. And then what was the last one?
Destroy All Humans, I believe, comes out
Destroy
this
Is
All
that one on the
Humans.
28th or the 17th?
That one,
I think that one's a little bit later.
is it the 28th?
Yes, 28th.
Oh, okay, I thought it was this week. Maybe I could be mistaken.
So yeah, so the 2 big ones are Paper Mario and Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay. Yeah, both exclusives, right? Poor
Right,
Xbox
right.
fanboys, man. Ain't got nothing cool this week.
Man, they're hurting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but let's
so-
open up right with that Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
start
they
with
showed a
us.
video about that a few weeks ago, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it. And since it's coming out this week, we should probably, dig into it because it's really awesome.
Right,
Def-
right. There was some
definitely.
good gameplay shown and whatnot. So I think it was like a cool 15 minutes or something like that of gameplay.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, everybody was posting like last week that they got their pre-copies of Ghost of Tsushima. So it was there's mad
review
people trying to
copies,
flex
right?
on
Yeah.
Twitter, and talk
Yeah.
about what they had and everything.
Like Ghost of Tsushima, it's made by Sucker Punch.
Yep. So
Right.
they made Infamous, right?
They made
Infamous,
Infamous. So we
which is a
haven't
great
seen
game.
them since Infamous Second Son, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like there was something small that they did. Has it
Nah.
really been that long?
because that's what I put that on my notes, right? Like 2014 was the last time we saw them make something.
Dang.
So they've
Dang,
been
man.
spending like 5-6 years on this game.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know, like, does that, is that a good sign, a bad sign? Does that give it too much expectation, or what do you think?
I think that's a good sign if they've literally dedicated the entire production
Right,
unit
the whole
to
team.
this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think that's great because it's not like we're getting, a cyberpunk, CD Project Red type thing where
Right.
they're kind of having to push it back. Like they seem like they're ready. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's no slight to CD Project Red, but they're working on other titles
Yeah.
that maybe they didn't have like their whole squad. You know what I mean? So they weren't able to fulfill
I,
everything.
I
quickly.
think they have been dedicating all their time to this one game because it looks that good.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. I think that they've been doing a lot of production on this for the past couple years. I don't think it's a bad thing, that they took a while.
I was gonna ask you, Mark. Like, do you care? You probably like when they take a long time, huh? On a game.
I mean, I'm used to Blizzard games, so
Yeah.
when it's done, it's done. I really liked Infamous. What was the second
Second
Infamous?
Son.
The second
Yeah,
Son.
it's Infamous Second
But
Son.
wasn't there a little?
There's one after that. It was Flash. First Light.
First Light.
Yeah.
That was a DLC content.
That was the
Yeah.
one with the
Yeah,
female,
the female
that
infamous
was in the
character.
story
Yeah.
for the second son.
So I really liked both of those
Yeah.
games.
I never played First Light.
I
It
didn't.
was good. It was good.
because
It
it
was
was
a
a DLC,
standalone.
so
It
just
was
a
a-
few hours. Like I don't
yeah.
know, but
It was a DLC, but it was
it
also
looked
a
cool.
standalone.
Yeah, but it was like a short one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually played that one first because it was free on
Hmm.
PlayStation Plus. I
Oh,
liked
really?
it so
I
much.
never got a chance.
I liked it so
Wow.
much that I
I
got
downloaded
Infamous.
it, but I never.
So-
I never got a
played it.
chance. That's a
I
bummer. I
never
wish I
did,
would have
yeah,
played
there's
it.
too many
I
games
love
going
Second
on.
Son. I mean, I beat the, she just does a lot of that game.
Right.
But anyway, so like, what are your first impressions, Stone, on this game?
Man, like where do I start? It's just, it looks beautiful. It looks like they've invested a lot of time to make it look next gen, even though it's on the current gen.
That's true. That's a
platform.
great point. Yeah.
There's a lot of aspects that I see that they probably might have snatched from other, high known
Oh, yeah.
AAA titles.
For sure, dude.
Like I've seen a little Far Cry resemblance in there. I've seen a
Yep.
lot of Assassin's Creed resemblance in there.
Yep.
So I can only, I love both of those games, so I can only be even more excited,
Right.
because of how, what they've taken and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, the world looks lush and green. It looks like everything is pretty vibrant and responds to you, when you go through like a big, field of grass or whatever, stuff's moving out of your way.
It's like
you
a
know what I
real
mean?
breathing world, right?
Yeah, you know.
Mhm.
And I think one of the aspects that they use for your arrow for your direction to go is like the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's incorporating it in there as well. So
Right.
I don't know. It looks lovely to me. Like I just can't wait to dive in.
Yeah,
Where you at, Mark?
I agree that at first glance the game looks incredible. The landscapes, just it looks like it could potentially be next gen.
Yeah.
When I was looking at when I was looking at The Last of Us, I thought that was probably one of the best games.
Yeah,
graphically.
we were talking about that, right?
But I think this game,
I don't know.
It's close.
I don't know.
In my opinion. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah.
One thing too, I wondered, was this based on real events? It takes place in 1274, and it is fictional. I looked it up to see it was based on real events.
But it's based on,
but it's
the way it was then.
It's based on that time period.
Right.
They try to do
so it's historically accurate, but not historically factual.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
Correct. The storyline is fictional, but it's takes place during that time period.
Right.
So the game looks incredible. I know we're gonna break down each segment, but at first glance, when I watched the trailer and the gameplay, I just wanted more of this game.
Yeah, I'm on both y'all. Like, it looked great.
Yeah.
And like the shot they gave of him looking out over the landscape, it looked enormous. Mm-hmm. Like the world looked enormous, massive. Dude. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hop and explore that whole world.
Yeah.
There's so many sweet things they did. Like the way, like they definitely they focused on making the environment tell you what to do rather than arrows and dots.
Kind of like its own story, right?
We're so used to like arrows and dots directing us around.
Yeah.
Now like we actually have to look at that fire pyre, I'm gonna go that direction. And then I'm going to click on it and I'm going to have the wind direct me there rather than like arrows and like a shimmer of line. Like they don't take away from the world. They make the world lead you rather than adding artificial things into the world.
Right.
I like that.
Immersing you more into the world. Like my first thought when I saw this was it was The Witcher meets Assassin's Creed. Like I just kept thinking Witcher like so much as I watched it. Like the graphics seemed really similar to me. Like the way you played when you went into an area, you come across random dudes on the side of the road, telling you to stay away or asking you for help, or something like that. And you hop on and you help them, like, yeah, my first, and then Assassin's Creed, of course, because, you're the ghost, right?
Yeah.
So like definitely had Assassin's Creed vibes. And then I didn't think Far Cry, but you're right. I thought Far Cry, that makes a lot of sense. Like now that you mention it.
Yeah. I mean, when you're going to these outposts and you're sitting here trying to tackle it, by either killing everybody that's in there, wreaking some type of havoc in there, as the ghost or whatnot, or just trying to get to the main objective, which is probably some general or something like that in there that you incapacitate, and then the rest of your guys just move in and take over. So that just gave me Far Cry aspects, like
absolutely, man. Like feudal Japan is just super exciting. Like, man, I'm a huge fan of Japan. I know, I've always wanted to go there.
Right.
So like that's just super exciting that it's set in feudal Japan, which is how sick is that?
I mean, I've been to Japan, but I would love to like actually explore it.
Like, to be honest, like I'm kind of like more excited for this game I think than I was for Sekiro, and I love from Software.
Wow.
But this game, I like the open world. You get to explore actual feudal Japan rather than like linear processes.
Yeah.
And the music was just stunning to me. Like I remember when I first started watching that trailer and the music, I was like, dude, this is just like immersive, like taking me to Japan. I couldn't wait.
It felt like an old school, like Japanese samurai movie or something like that.
Right. And they were going for that, like because they mentioned that in their thing. So I mean,
that's like their forte.
I mean, I guess we can move on and talk a little bit about the combat. Like Mark, where are you at on that?
So the combat, I like that. What's the term when he puts the ghost? When he puts the mask on,
you have ghost and you have samurai mode.
Yeah. So right? I like
Jin the ghost and Jin the samurai.
Yep. So I like the contrast of the two types. So you got like the honorable samurai. You can bow to your enemy.
Yeah.
I like that. Then
the honorables. I'm right.
So it's like the honorable side, and I like how you can switch it up. Depending on the situation. If you don't want to run into these three dudes head on, bowing to them, making it a long affair, you can just put the mask on, You know, throw some kunai, do whatever you got to do. You know, you sneak up on them.
So what do you prefer then? What's your choice?
It's situational for me.
It's a mixed bag, man.
Okay.
Mixed bag.
For me, it depends on the situation.
Right,
what tool do I need for the job?
Okay,
You know?
interesting take.
I wouldn't play it like, all right, I'm role playing. You know, I'm only gonna be the samurai unless the game tells me I need to. You know, so I'm gonna play. You know,
What you feel
whatever
like
the world
presents to you.
Presents to me. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
One thing though too, I wanted to say what you were saying earlier about like I like how everything's kind of minimal, like the UI.
Yes.
Like, and that helps with immersion too, because you don't have all these other elements in the game. Yeah, I don't like
pulling you away from the immersion.
It's just
distracting you from it.
It's just so simple. So I do love that. So going back to the combat too. There's no combat numbers or nothing like that, which I think in a game like this we don't want that.
Right.
Nah, you don't need that.
You want insta kills or like one cut kill somebody. I don't need to see numbers for that, right?
Now, do you want to see health bars?
No.
That's a good point.
Probably because sometimes,
not.
like when you're working on an enemy
that's a
big,
tough question.
You don't know how many hits you like need. Like, so you're like, do I back up and heal
but
up?
But
or do I just
Assassin's Creed doesn't have health bars, right?
Does it?
That I can recall.
Like you could just insta kill a boss. Like you don't need a health bar for that. Like a certain assassin target, you could just insta kill.
Yeah.
You know, if you get their attention, you gotta fight them a bit. But
right.
So I think I'm with Mark. I think no health bars at all. It just feels more normal.
Yeah.
And like what makes sense thematically. Right?
I got you.
Yeah.
So I say the combat looks really fluid. It looks really crisp and clean. For The Witcher, when I played it again, I didn't think the combat was that fluid. But this game, the combat looks really fun, clean. So I'm hoping the combat feels as good as it looks in the gameplay we saw.
There's a finesse to the combat.
Yes,
right?
there is a finesse to this. One thing too, when he was doing an assassination, it was like he did a chain of them. He assassinated one guy, he assassinated another guy. So So I like the flow of that. So I'm really hyped about the combat. Yeah. What do you think, Marcus, about the combat?
I mean, just like you guys were saying, like the combat is purposeful. At least what they showed. It seems like you don't just button mash to be able to eliminate your
counter,
enemy.
right?
It's a counter. It's a counter game.
You wait for the dodge, you wait for the move. Yeah,
that reminds me of like Sekiro. That also, reminds me a little bit of like Dark Souls in a sense, because you had to properly time your hits and when you wanted to attack, if you wanted to do like max damage and whatnot. But the combat, it looks really great. Like I said, to sit there and wait for somebody to come at you with a sword swipe, and then you just dodge real quick, and then just like a slash and take an arm off or something like that. That's like wicked. Like,
dude, these guys,
Like the only thing that I could be possibly disappointed with, right, is that there's not a VR version coming out for this like right away, because could you imagine putting on your VR headset and you look down at the grass to see the direction of the wind blowing and like, okay, that's my next destination. Or just like when you make your cut, you waited and timed it precisely and you lop his arm off as he's coming at you, like it would be wicked. But
you love that VR, man.
Yeah,
it's too intensive for VR though, right? I think it might be too graphically intensive for VR, maybe.
Oh, definitely now, because all of the VR games are pretty much trash as far as like graphics are concerned. But I mean, there's some beautiful ones in there, but if they're beautiful, there's no gameplay.
Right.
So it's like one hand. But the gameplay looks great. I mean, the different devices he has to help him battle with combat, the different the fighting styles that you have and how fluid you can switch through them. Just like you can dismember two enemies and then switch to like water style or something like that, and then fight the next person or whatnot.
For me, there was no talent trade that I noticed. Right, so I don't know if they're gonna like in a lot of games, you can kind of like pick a path, right? Like I'm going to dump my experience or my talent into the samurai tree.
Right.
If that's the case, then I'm probably going to dump the majority of my experience, if that's the case, into the ghost tree, because, I'm all about assassin.
Right.
Like, so I'm going to approach every situation as a ghost until the situation tells me I can't.
Yeah.
Right. And then I might, fight it out. I'm going to try to kill as many dudes as I can silently, and then if the situation, gets out of hand, then I'll have to fight, samurai mode. But yeah, I definitely like the combat. It's very, a lot of finesse. It's very direct, purposeful, like Marcus was saying. You're waiting for the guy to attack. He dies. You spin around. You slash him down. He's dead. I like that. If you get the right dodge or parry or whatever it is, you one shot him. Like, I like games that do that.
Mm-hmm.
It encourages you to get better at the game. But yeah, the combat looked a lot like a lot of fun. Super excited for it. The traversing was all right. You'd have like the little rope, that you could throw your little hook onto and swing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes those little obvious things in the world pull away from the immersion for me.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, come here.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
here.
obviously I can throw there, right? It takes a little bit of that immersion away from me when I see things like that. So I guess that's a slight knock, to it.
Yeah.
So I was a little lazy. Or like when you're riding through the world and you see a branch flickering.
Right,
and you go and you
like
snag
a little
it.
Shimmer or
yeah, there's those little things that drop the immersion. Like, they did so much work to try to keep you in the immersion, and then they have those little things that drop the immersion that feel slightly lazy. I don't know. I don't want to do that because I spent 6 years playing this game. But there's those things that just feel like little shortcuts.
Yeah. At the same time, though, how could you even know that? Oh, like that branch is pickable, or like that's an herb that I could grab if you've never grabbed it before.
Right.
Like, how would you get your initial?
Maybe like a button. Maybe you press a button and like it sends like a sense wave out, and you kind of like, because if you were like a real samurai in real life, maybe you can like sit and just kind of look and like get a feel for it, rather than like pulling you out of the immersion every time it's always blinking. Something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's true.
So like a little like a.
I'm not a game developer. All I'm saying is, those are the things that I've noticed that kind of take you out of the immersion.
So you're okay with like a minimal, like partial time, like a grab or whatever, like a little shimmer. That's like a short time one.
Yeah, like if it's something that I'm focusing on doing. Like if my character's like focusing on trying to find, plants, and I just like, a little shockwave or something that goes out, that kind of gives me. And they could have been as creative as they want with that. I don't know how that would look, how they would keep that immersive, but just a way that, you kind of activate it rather than it always be there pulling you out of the immersion.
Yeah.
It's just my thoughts. Like just trying to be a little bit more creative of ways of without pulling you out of the immersion.
Yeah.
Like.
Can we hold on a second?
Yeah.
Can you grab that mouse that's over there on the floor? Because I don't know if the computer went to sleep.
That's weird. It would go to sleep while it's recording.
Yeah. I just don't know if it has. But grab it for me.
Just keep it over here.
Yeah. Does it still say it's recording?
I can see. Yeah, I see numbers next to the record button.
That little small button that's right here. Okay. All right. I just wasn't sure. I was like, it was screenshot now.
But yeah, so, going on from that point of view, from combat, being either the ghost or the samurai, it seems like there's lots of customizable options, in those directions of where you want to go. What are your thoughts, Mark, on the customization options in this game?
So first, I like that you can like find plants and things in the environment to dye your armor.
Oh yeah.
So that's really cool. I like that. That's realistic, and I'm sure during this time, that took place. I like that your armor and your equipment visually has an identity. So when you get a new piece of armor,
it looks like you got a new piece.
Like you got a new piece of armor. I don't like when games you're just this avatar the whole game and you're getting new weapons and equipment, but you still look the same. So I like that.
My first thought was, oh, Mark's gonna like this because you always comment on customization. You want to collect gear and collect.
I want to collect things. I want to collect dye. I want to, I just want to look different. So I really am glad that this game, took that approach. So what do you think about the customization, Marcus?
I mean, just like Mark, like that makes it worthwhile gear hunting. You know what I mean? Like when you get drops, and
I want to find every plant.
Yeah, like I want to do some damage and I want to look good. So, let me find the most wickedest looking gear that fits my ghost persona.
And
or
you pick your
whatever.
colorways.
Yeah, and then you can
Yeah.
eventually change it. Like, oh, this gear is white, but I ain't trying to be white. I'm trying to be midnight black, so I can
Right.
fit in with, like, you know, the darkest of the areas or whatnot. But yeah, so I mean, the different gear, that looks great. And I mean, there's got to be some kind of customization as far as, like, there's got to be some type of a talent tree,
Yeah, some
right?
sort
But
of
it's got to be like
progression.
minimalistic or something, right?
It's got to be.
you're putting
Yeah,
you're putting
there's gotta
something
be.
into going the way of the ghost.
I'm surprised they didn't
or the
show it,
samurai.
but there's got
They
to
probably
be
want to,
something.
they probably want to just keep it,
Goes to the chest, yeah.
yeah, until you
Yeah.
play it. And you know, by Thursday, I'm sure we're gonna see, like, the floodgates open with, like, you know, all kinds of videos on skill tree and what you need to have first when you start, you know, whatever. But yeah,
well, yeah, I mean, you know, I could see that. It seems like they just wanted to show their game off.
Mhm.
Like, they're just proud of it. Like,
Yeah.
look at my
Yeah.
game. Just look how beautiful it is. Look how nice it is. It seemed like that was more what the showcase was, rather
Right.
than a deep dive into, like, every aspect of the game. It was just like,
Exactly.
look at how pretty our game is.
Right.
Like, I like on the customization, the dyes. I like how vibrant it is. Like, the colors are just so,
Yeah.
you know,
They
they're just
pop.
like pop. Yeah, they
Yeah.
pop. The colors pop. It's like, wow, that's a bright white, or wow, that's a bright red. You know, like, that's a really, it's really colorful. It's not dark or drab. And you know, the clothing, like, it fits the era. You know, like the Raiden hat, or
Yeah.
the samurai hat. I want one of those, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
you know, being able to, you know, color your guy to fit your play style, right? Like you're saying, like, if I'm gonna go with the ghost, you know, I'm gonna want to color my guy black, even if it doesn't have any effect on the gameplay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my guy.
It's just gonna
yeah,
visually
it just
be more
visually
logical.
makes it more immersive,
Yeah.
right? Like, it makes me feel like I'm an assassin, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
if I'm wearing bright red, which that's what I would go for.
That wouldn't
like,
work
am I
in real
really
life,
gonna be
right?
assassinating
Yeah.
people in this green
Can I
lush
hide
area
in
or
this?
what?
You know, I
Yeah.
can't hide with this color on me, right?
Right.
But it probably wouldn't make a difference gameplay wise. They probably wouldn't let it affect it. But
Yeah.
you know,
I'm
to
gonna
immerse
test it
me,
out
I'm
and
gonna go
see.
black, or I'm gonna
Yeah.
go all straight, you know, jet black, and I'm gonna be dark as night.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm gonna hide in every
Right,
shadow
right.
and every nook.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think my biggest thing is the katanas, man. The swords. Like, I want to see, like,
They didn't really go into
customization
that,
of the
huh?
swords. I mean, they didn't talk about that, so I'm just hoping that Jin doesn't have the same sword the entire time. I would want him to upgrade his
Yeah.
sword, but if not, I mean, I understand, you know, a samurai sword. Like, if you got an exquisite sword made from the beginning, you wouldn't need anything else.
Just like
but-
Sekiro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like one of those things. Like, if I'm customizing all of my armor, I'm wearing face masks that I can customize. I'm wearing hats. I can probably shave or something like that. Like, I want to customize my damn sword. So if
Yeah,
that means
for
that
sure.
all I can do is change the hilt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. Like, just give me something, man.
Yeah.
I want
They probably will. It might not be that extensive, but hopefully, because that's one of the coolest parts, your sword, right?
Yeah, I think when I was looking at the gameplay introduction thing, they were showing, like, the different types of armor and stuff like that. And if I recall correctly, I think I saw the looks of the katanas that he had change, whether it was in
Okay.
color.
Oh,
but
when
it
they were
changed.
flicking
Yeah,
through
when
each
they were changing through
customization,
the
you saw the
different
katana
armors and
changing.
stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
I know I saw positions change as to
Right.
where they were held, but
Right, or doubles or singles, right? Yeah.
right,
Mhm.
yeah. So you know, that's something that I'll definitely be, you know, trying to explore, because, you know, I want different swords. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I
for
want
sure.
I want to, even if we're not talking about, like, oh, this sword drops and it's only 2 damage, and you got this sword that drops and it's like 36 damage or whatever. I'm not looking for that per se,
Right.
but I just want him to, like, kill somebody badass and then, like, reach down, grab their sword, and he's like, damn, this is good. You know, toss his old sword.
That's a really good
slide his
question.
new sword into the
I don't
sheath,
know
you
if I don't know, Mark, do you want legendary gear? Like, you're hunting for legendary gear, or do you just kind of want that static? I have my samurai sword, and it's more about the gameplay, not the gear.
I would say for this game, I would just want to hunt for armor. As far as swords, I'm fine with keeping my sword throughout the game. Yeah.
Would it be cool to have, like, a sword, like, with a sweet affix or whatever, like it lights people on fire, or, you know,
I
just,
think
you
that
know,
would take
little
out of the
little
immersion of
legendary
the game.
affixes. So it takes away from the immersion. You don't want that.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
seem more like it's
I think
real
like in
life. It would seem like
1274 when this
something
game
else.
takes place, Your steel blade is as good as it
well,
gets.
say,
You don't have any emulators on there.
Same with Assassin's Creed though, right? Like in the Egyptian times, that's just as old or older than this time period. And you had the legendary gear you were hunting for in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
That game wasn't trying to be immersive though, like this game is. So I don't know. I don't know the right answer. I think either way I'd be happy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always fun, right? To hunt for those dope legendary pieces,
Yeah.
Or,
trying to find them.
Add a
That's
little
always
Last of
fun,
Us aspect where you can, upgrade your sword.
Or upgrade your sword.
Add a little liquid fire on there or something.
Yeah,
You
little
something
Bioshock,
or strike it with like a smooth stone and, it bursts into flames because the oil you can put in. It pulls up and light them up, That would be cool.
Yeah. But like the last thing on this game, we love this game obviously, but we still have to wonder. I know we're all anime watchers here. Is the Japanese language something you would turn on and use, or would you keep it in English?
I think for the second gameplay, like the second playthrough, I'd probably turn on the Japanese and then maybe try like in black and white.
That movie mode, yeah.
But I would just keep it in English just so I can be able to get the story and observe it without having to look at the words on the screen. I want to, check out everything else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I want to visualize everything. I want to be able to see everything that's going on, and then later on, I'll turn on the Japanese
picture mode. Is that something you'd use?
I've never really used picture mode too much. I mean, I attempted to use picture mode in Last of Us 2 to like take pictures of the PlayStations, but after a while, I was like, I seen it. You know what I mean? It's not anything big.
Where do you fall, Mark?
I think it's cool that you can turn on the Japanese language in the game. I think that adds to more immersion. So I would try it out, with subtitles and see how I feel.
Yeah.
So I really like that you have that option. As far as the picture mode that they have, I think it's really cool that you can hide the UI. You can increase elements like wind, and you can
that's true.
do 360. Let's say you're fighting a boss and you're about to, decapitate them. And you pause it for a second, increase the wind. You have your armor flowing right before you're about to cut their head off, and then you push play and you cut them. I don't know. I think it could.
It definitely will make some sick like gifs and like
you're gonna see a lot of that.
I think things like this would be cool to record those clips and have save these screenshots. Because I feel like screenshots are something we did back in the day. But I feel like screenshots now, people don't really take screenshots of their gameplay,
I'm guilty of that.
So I think this, let's say you got a cool set of armor, you just took out your first boss. I think it's cool you can hype yourself up, and take a cool picture. So I think it's personally cool that they added such a thing to this game.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you want to feel like Tanjiro when you go to slice the head off?
He's Tanjiro.
From Demon Slayer.
I haven't seen Slayers yet. Yeah, so you recommended
it's like
that.
When he does like his water breathing technique.
Oh, okay.
It's like water that's flowing from his blade and stuff.
That's cool. I'm still trying to get through that Rise of the Shield Hero.
Oh yeah, that's a good
which
one.
I've been liking.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the photo mode. So many of these games add a photo mode in, and I've never used it. Maybe I fooled around with it a little bit in like, what was it, like Spider-Man?
Okay.
Like a little bit when like I went to like the top of Empire State Building and I to take a picture or whatever. Like I did a little bit of that.
Give yourself a selfie.
Yeah, give myself a selfie. This game takes it to another level. Like Mark is saying, you could increase the weather effect. So that's dope. That's really cool. Maybe I would dabble. My personal preferences. I don't know how much time the dev team spent on this, but I would have rather have them have spent the time elsewhere. Improving something else rather than taking the time to incorporate a photo mode. I don't know. I think they're really proud of their game. I think they think it's gorgeous and they think it's beautiful. They're really proud of it, and they want to be able to,
showcase it.
Yeah, make memories of it and have a ways to, solidify their work of art. I get it, but I would have rather the manpower gone to something else. But maybe it was easy for them to do. I don't know. But I might dabble, but not use.
Right.
Unless Mark, I see Mark popping out some dope gifts. And I'm like, oh, shoot, man, I got to try now. It might get me excited. But as it stands right now, I'm probably not going to be using the photo mode too much. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, man. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait this week.
So
day one for me. That's a day one.
Yeah, so for all of us, this is last time we did day one buy, wait.
Yeah.
Day one buy.
Okay.
This is a day one
it's
for
quite
all
clear.
of us. Yeah,
Day
we would
one.
rate this as a day one,
Day one,
for
guys.
sure. I think without a doubt, right? I mean, it's
If
and
I
you,
can,
and you
9 o'clock, you know.
day
Yeah.
first hour, right?
Right.
Yeah, not just day one, but hour one. I mean, and you can see the last time we did these reviews, not too many games were day one buys, but this is definitely a day one buy. I think the next one we're talking about, Paper Mario, might fall on that mark. I'm gonna default to you here.
Yeah, so Paper Mario and the Origami King. I haven't played a Paper Mario game since GameCube, right? And was that the first one or was it N64? I can't recall.
I think GameCube was the first one.
Okay. So I haven't played a Paper Mario in a long time. So watching the trailer and the gameplay.
Yeah, they skipped a generation, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't think it was working well.
It wasn't for the
Wii.
Wii or the Wii U.
Actually,
I
think there was a Paper Mario for the Wii.
I believe there was.
But not Wii U.
I don't think there was any on Wii U.
Okay, so they skipped a generation, right? Yeah.
Right. So at first glance, at this Paper Mario, I love the style. I love the flipping of the character. I love the hand-drawn art. A lot of these comments we made about other games before, and I think you're like, oh yeah, this reminds us of Paper Mario. But I really like the combat in Paper Mario. I don't know if you guys seen, but it's kind of like a puzzle style of combat.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do your typical when you're out in the world jumping on enemy's head to just defeating them.
Right.
But when there's a pack of enemies or bosses, it's this ring style combat system. So I feel like them adding this element to this game, it separates the pack from, let's say you played Super Mario Odyssey. It just makes this game so much different opposed to just aesthetics. So the gameplay is just completely
And that
new.
wasn't in the original Paper Mario's, right?
No.
That game,
No.
those game mechanics.
Yeah, this new puzzle system where you have to use these rings, manipulate these rings. So you have a jump attack, which is a linear. You could attack up to 4 enemies in a row if you do your jump attack. You have a hammer attack, which is like a 2x2 square. So you want to align enemies in a square, 2x2.
This is in the world.
So this is when
not the circle, right?
This is when you approach like a pack of enemies
Oh.
or a boss.
Do you have to time it? Do you have to time it?
Yeah.
So the slash would be a timed attack when they come around in the circle. Is that how it works?
So how it works is there'll be an array of 4 discs, and each disc has many different
an enemy
pieces.
on it, right?
Yeah. It has many different pieces around it. So you have to manipulate the rings to arrange the enemies
like a puzzle.
like a puzzle. So when you're happy with how they're arranged, then you can attack.
Okay.
Because your attack will fizzle out or won't do as much damage if you don't manipulate that. So when you play bosses, you swap the space. You're in the outside ring, and the boss is in the middle.
Right.
So I just feel like that's.
I understood the boss fights when I watched it. The boss fights made sense to me.
Yeah.
I have to line up my directionals, right, to hit and attack and do certain things. That made sense to me. There was the packs that I wasn't quite fully understanding how that worked.
You're the boss essentially, and you play. So I just feel like that's a really cool, clever mechanic that I think this will separate it from the pack from other Mario games. So I think they did a great job at innovating on the mechanics. And as far as the style and how it looks, I think it's on par with what we would expect, a next gen Paper Mario game to be.
Right.
So what do you think about the game, Marcus?
Okay, so I did a little searching real quick, and so the first Paper Mario was on the N64.
Okay.
And then the second one was on the GameCube.
Right, which is the one we remember.
Right, and then they had one for the 3DS. Don't really count unless you're just playing handhelds. And then they did have one on the Wii U,
but not the Wii.
Yeah, not the Wii. But
so the Wii they skipped, not the Wii U.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
they definitely skipped a generation on it, right?
Right. But as far as like Paper Mario is concerned, it looks very similar to what I remember from the GameCube, and I love the GameCube game. The gameplay, the combat, that's different from the Paper Mario from GameCube.
Right.
And so that looks cool. Just like trying to solve this like, sort of mini puzzle. If you wanted to, you don't have to. You could just clobber them all. But you can kill them off quicker if you were to line them up and then get them in rows. And then you're able to get like bonus coins for knocking out multiples in one shot. You're also if there's like certain things that you're in, like certain battles or whatnot, and you needed, if it was timed or you needed like an extra boost or something like that, I think you can use coins that you've collected in the world to help
Cool.
give you like an extra 1-up or some type of a plus while you're battling. And then like you said, the bosses. Those
I heard there were
fights are a little
RPG
switched.
elements.
Yeah, there's like weapons that you can get, like hammers, to help and bash the Goombas and stuff like that.
A little better. Okay.
You can find like steel boots and equip them, so now you're able to jump on those turtles with the spike shells.
Right.
And do different things like that. So it's that type of RPG element,
I heard it's light, but they have some RPG elements.
Yeah, it's very light. So, but there's a lot of little things that seem like they're cool in there. I think you can find like some of the toadstools, the little toad guys or whatever.
Right.
And you find them in the world, and they're able to open up things in the village that you go to, the main toad village.
Right.
So like they'll open up shops and different things like that for you to help you get stronger, I guess. So it looks like there's a lot of stuff to do. It looks great, for a Switch game. You know what I mean? Like they only have so much power that they can output. And
I know, that's why I'm always like hesitant to pay the $60.
Yeah, that's a little rough
for Switch games. But for me, I mean, I don't know, people might hate me for this, but Paper Mario is a lot more appealing to me than even like the Mario 3D games. I just really like
Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, like Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
I like the art direction. I like the color schemes. I like the goofiness. I like kind of like the RPG, top down look as you're running around the world. Like Zelda, like the original Zelda's kind of where, like, I kind of just prefer that play style over like the Mario Odyssey kind of thing. So this kind of appeals to me more. This is a little bit more exciting to me.
Right.
It looks fun. This is definitely probably something I would get. Because Ghost and Paper Mario both come out at the same time. Yeah, I'd probably say Ghost is more the day one for me, but this is definitely a buy at some point. I'll definitely be getting this game. I know Mark's probably day one for you, right?
Yeah.
Paper Mario's day one for you.
Definitely.
And what is it for you, Stone?
I mean, day one for me is going to be Ghost of Tsushima.
Right.
So once I get done playing Ghost of Tsushima,
it's on to Paper Mario.
I'll probably be getting Paper Mario.
Right.
So it'll just be a matter of when. That's
right.
really
so
all
it's
it is.
Buy it sometime for sure then.
Yeah. I mean, because the last game that I have,
and if there was no Ghost, it'd be day one.
Oh yeah, if Ghost of Tsushima gotten pushed back, like Cyberpunk.
But it's not hour one.
Yeah.
It's not an hour one game though, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
If we're gonna be adding hour one, because Ghost of Tsushima is an hour one game, right?
I mean, it's like I could buy Paper Mario hour one, right, as soon as it releases, but I'm not gonna play it right away. I'm gonna be on Ghost of Tsushima, so it's like,
but if there was no Ghost of Tsushima, would Paper Mario be like, I'm there at midnight the night before hour one, or is it just day one for me? I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna walk in on the day of the release.
So it's
I'm
a day one.
Day,
right?
Before
not an hour
9
one.
o'clock, right when it
You're
closes.
Not an hour one guy. Mark's gonna be an hour one guy. Or is it a day one for you?
For me, it's just day one.
A day one, yeah.
I don't know if there is a Switch game that's like an hour one.
That I need to have hour one.
Yeah, I'd say just the Pokemon games.
Pokemon's close, but Fire Emblem too. I'm a big fan of Fire Emblems. Those are close to hour one.
So that's
for me.
hour one.
I would pre-order that, and I would be there at 9 to get that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Fire Emblems a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, they're not as frequent. There's like a lot of day one, Switch games. Like I'll get on day one, but not a lot that I'm showing up at 9 a.m. the day before.
Right.
But there are a couple.
Yeah.
But
So
Ghost
then
of
the,
Tsushima is an hour one for me, for sure.
Yeah. So the other game that was releasing, well, it's not releasing this week, but it's releasing possibly the week after or whatnot. Is Destroy All Humans.
Yeah, Destroy All Humans. I thought that was coming out this week. We're gonna talk a lot more about Destroy All Humans from the Game Fest because we're all gonna be playing that,
right?
And so we're gonna get a good feel for that game. We're all gonna play that one. We already got it all set up, but like the little that I have seen of Destroy All Humans, it looks like a lot of fun. It's like a Ratchet and Clank to me. Like I look forward to playing it. It's gonna be a fun time, right?
Yeah, Destroy All Humans was mostly about like BSing. It was destroying cows for no reason, terrorizing the human beings that were there. using the mind control, vaporizing them, like doing all kinds of stuff. It was just like a fun game to kind of just do random crap in. Like I kind of consider it to be like Saints Row.
Okay.
But just like alien style and whatnot. Because I feel like Saints Row tried to be like a Grand Theft Auto copy, but they just invested their time more in like BSing than in actual like the story and all that stuff. So I feel like this is how Destroy All Humans.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
It's just hop in your UFO and just start sucking up cows and then just like dropping them from midair. Let them splat.
Yeah, I died. I died laughing, man, when I was watching the gameplay demo. And he telekinetically picked the cow up and just flung that dude into the sky, dude. Like he launched it into the sky, like high up into the sky. And then it's like you were just watching it for a minute. Yeah. And then it comes down slowly and splats on the floor. Oh my gosh, that had me dying.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to try this next week. I'm definitely excited to try this game next week. It released originally on the Xbox?
Yeah, did you ever play that,
PS2?
Mark? Did you ever play?
I played the original.
Destroy All Humans?
It was on. Was it also
OG Xbox?
Was it on the PS2 as well? So I'm really excited about trying this game next week. I played the original. I never owned it. I didn't have the original Xbox, but it looks fun. Like Marcus was saying, just to mess around. It's co-op, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
I don't think it was.
The
original
always
wasn't.
single player.
The original wasn't, but maybe this one is.
I was going to say, this would be cool to just run around and wreak havoc with a buddy.
Oh, totally. It would be fun, yeah.
So we'll see if the demo has that capability. Is there any boss fights? I'm trying to remember. I've played this game very limited originally.
No, I don't think there were, right, Stone? There were no boss fights.
I feel like there were certain people in the world that you needed to attack,
right,
or to capture or find or whatever. But I don't think there were any like
you were just kind of wreaking havoc,
things.
Right?
Yeah, it was literally like the story was, if I can recall correctly, it was just trying to maneuver in this world and just literally take everybody over.
Right.
Just like you start from city to city.
You're destroying all humans, right? Yeah. Cool. But yeah, so we're looking forward to this. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about our thoughts on these Game Fest games when the Game Fest comes out. But we did also want to touch briefly on the PS Plus games for July. There's some dope ones. This is kind of a special month because we got 2K20, which is kind of a top end game. Right. Which we were just talking about how none of us had played. Right. The last one we had played was like 2K16 or something like that.
Right. Yeah. That was the last one I had. When it was free for the PS Plus. So here we go again.
4 years later.
Yeah. Here you go again. So I'm gonna try it out. I don't know how I know Mark was telling us. I thought Mark, you had more knowledge about the 2K20.
Yeah. So it's on Game Pass. So I tried the campaign. I downloaded the companion app. I recorded my face so that my character in the story looks like me.
That's right.
So I honestly like playing through the campaign. I like developing my character, seeing him go from a crappy,
right,
and the
loser
to extra league,
and G League,
the G League or whatever league, to a star.
Yeah,
that was fun. I never played online. I really sucked at the game, so I, you
just play the story.
I just played the story, and I was really bad at the game, so I didn't have the desire to play online and get whooped. But it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, just to take note too, I heard the NBA is thinking about filtering 2K audience noises into the stadiums for the upcoming Bubble League. Yeah,
I heard
that's funny.
So 2K, we're really close to having just NBA players being in 2K. I mean, even the way they set up the courts at the Orlando Bubble, they're like identical to 2K. It's just copying 2K. But anyway, Stone, you excited for this one?
So 2K is a good game. It's just that, because it's pretty much the same thing every time.
Right.
The only thing that really changes is the campaign, and it's whether or not the campaign is good or not. But I mean, the fact that you just get to be you, in this world where you get to become a superstar
right.
and whatnot, and do something that you couldn't actually do yourself or whatever. It's cool. So I enjoyed playing 2K16. I played it a lot so that I could get through the first season, and I think I did some of the second season or whatnot of my character. So I'm interested to play this one and start. I think by the time I had gotten 2K16, they didn't have the app anymore for the face recognition. So I need to jump on this and download the app so that I can get my face in the damn game before they erase that app and then put the new one for 2K21. So, but it's definitely something that I'm gonna play. I'm just trying to finish up Tlu 2
for sure, and then you got Ghost
and then,
too.
and then Ghost is gonna come. So. I'm probably going to. I did download it on my console, so I'm probably gonna start it up, get my face scanned so that my character is in the game and saved, and then I'll just put it to the side, finish up the other stuff. Right. But it's definitely something I'm gonna play. And I was excited when they decided that they were gonna give us this for PS Plus because I'm like,
it's like a real AAA game.
Yeah,
right?
This should legitly be a free PS Plus game every year of like June or whatever,
right?
You know, when
the July month of every year you get the 2K.
It would normally be. I would say that it should normally be around the time of playoffs because that's when people would be watching basketball more,
right.
And so then you would see a lot more downloads that people would want it on their system,
right?
And more people would be in it to play it, and then possibly they get some in-game currency purchase or whatever to get some more money. But, because of COVID, they pushed everything back. So that's why I say maybe not July, but like in June or something like that, because I think that's when the playoffs normally take place.
Yeah, like the vast majority of the people buying 2K are the hardcore fans that buy it day one. Hour one, right? They're hour one fans, right? Yeah. Like, we ain't that. We don't ever buy it.
Right.
And so they're going to get those sales anyways, right? And then you can just give it to the casuals, the filthy casuals like us, right? Like in June, which makes sense. Or even July, to reinvigorate the hype for basketball, to keep the hype for basketball alive in the off season. So maybe that's another way they can go. But like I'm excited. I was excited to see it too because it's like cool, finally a real
it's a AAA title, so it's like
this is a real deal. It's not some indie game they're throwing our way. Or some really old game, in my opinion, like Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Right.
They're giving us that too. And that game seems really old to me. I've played that. I've been done with that for years.
Right.
So
what's the second? What's the name of the second?
The second one is the Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
That's the newest one.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you have the Rise of the Tomb Raider.
That was the first one that they had brought out.
Right.
With the new Lara Croft and all that.
Right.
Set up with the good
That's
story.
The Rise. Or it's the first or second one.
Okay.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider is only the second one. I thought they had 3 of those.
I don't even know.
Yeah, check on that. All I know it's one of the OG ones.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider is one of the OG ones. So that's the kind of AAA games that they usually give us. You know, those really old AAA games that no one's playing anymore, or you already played and beat it.
Yeah.
Because I'm already moved on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I bought that for the cheap on a PS Plus deal. So like getting Rise of the Tomb Raider, that means 0 to me. Yeah. So I was happy to see 2K20.
Yeah, I was happy to see 2K20 as well, because they're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the PlayStation 3, right?
Right.
That's what this event's for. So I was hoping maybe for an exclusive that maybe people didn't play yet, maybe like The Last of Us or just some other.
That would have been dope.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, everyone played it. It's like 6 years old now.
It's old, man. Like I don't get that. I was just like,
so it's
really frustrating.
It says it was released in 2016.
The Rise of the Tomb Raider.
The Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration.
Oh, the 20-year celebration was released in 2016.
Yeah, and that's
when
did
Rise of the Tomb Raider come out though? Yeah, see that 20-year celebration is already 4 years old. That celebration pack, that Game of the Year edition, is already 4 years old. We're not talking about the main game. We're talking about the special edition version.
Right. Yeah, that's the one we're getting for the PS Plus. But yeah, the original joint.
Yeah. So this one came out in 2015.
2015. So going on 6 years old, like Mark is saying. Like, come on, man. It's a 6-year-old game.
But
come on, man. Like, I can't stand when PlayStation does that. Like, when you saw 2K20, you're like, oh, snap. It shocks you. And then you're like, wait a minute, Rise of the Tomb Raider? What? That game is so old.
But don't you feel that way when they give you, like, games like FIFA?
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that?
Well, FIFA's cool. Like, if they're new, I want newer games.
Yeah.
I don't mind them giving me a game that's a couple years old, like 2018, 2019. But why are you giving me 2014, 2015 games?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be... I like that they give you, like, 2 games because it's gonna be something for somebody somewhere at least.
Oh, I like
There's
getting
gonna
two
be something
games.
that
I just want
you're
both the
not gonna even
games
play
to
but
be. I want the games to be a little bit more modern.
yeah,
Than
for sure.
6-year, half-decade-old games.
Yeah, I mean, you know, how many like off the shelf sales are you getting now? You know what I mean? Like, I want something that, you know, maybe their sales dropped, you know, to a considerable amount. I
Right.
don't know, maybe like I don't even know what would be a considerable amount for, you know, a video game company. Maybe like 10,000 sales in a
Right.
month or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Depends on what they opened up with. But I think at a certain point, you know, there should be a lot of games that they just give you for free, just because, you know, maybe it would be better for a different type of game where the company would be able to get money off the back end. So like GTA 5, that should be free.
Yeah.
There's too much money that they can make from the GTA Online.
Yeah.
They should not be charging people for that.
Yeah,
game
we're gonna
still.
get into game prices here in a minute.
Yeah.
But because this is the special anniversary, right? We're
Yeah.
getting like one additional game,
Yeah.
and that's Erica, the interactive, thriller.
Yeah.
Right.
And what did you think of that, Mark?
I was pleasantly surprised. I liked that it was all like, what do you call this style? It's like a real recording.
Yeah, it's live action.
Live action,
Right?
It's
So,
a
Yeah.
movie.
It's a movie.
Yeah,
it's live action. Yeah.
So I liked how it looked. I like when you interact with something, it has a fingerprint. You know, your fingerprint. So that's how you open and touch things. I like that it was kind of like a thrill. Had like it's a thriller, right?
Yeah.
So there's some
for
of the scenes in
sure.
the trailer that were
Little
kind of
creepy.
like creepy, on edge. You didn't know what was going to happen. So this was like a pleasant surprise. I know it has some interactive with your cell phone elements. So I don't know how that's going to tie in, but I like that, you know, it has some more depth to it. So this was a pleasant surprise in my opinion, because
Yeah.
I never heard of this game. I've never seen it
Same
until
here.
it was free. So
Same here.
what'd you think?
Where you at, Stone?
Well, I mean, just looking at it, I was like, okay, Erica, I've never heard of it before.
Right.
So, you know, it wasn't even on my radar anywhere. So then I look at it and I'm like, wait, this is a movie. Like, this isn't a game. This is a movie. This is real people. It's not like I'm looking at some superb graphics.
Right.
I'm looking at real people.
footage.
Yeah. And then, you know, there's like questions that pop up and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, this is different, you know? And so the first vibes that I was getting when I looked at the trailer and, you know, and some of the gameplay or whatnot, it was, this looks like, it reminds me of Heavy Rain.
For sure.
Right? Because Heavy Rain, what was the other thriller one with Hayden? It was the female one. She was like running from some big guy, something like that. It was like its own little game. I can't remember
Yeah.
what the thing was.
It's from the same Crystal or whatever place that made Heavy Rain.
Yeah, I think it was the same place, but it was like
Right.
a really scary one that was supposed to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, it just looked, it felt like Heavy Rain with your decisions, and that it looks like your decisions would be really important that you made in it, and it might define the story.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any different outcomes or anything like that, because once again, I didn't even know anything of Erica in the first place. So this looks like something that I will download to my console and check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Just to play it. You know, it seems like it's something that I could just casually sit there with possibly my wife even,
Oh yeah.
and then she would just watch it.
Yeah, that's
while
a
I
great
played,
point.
and
That's a great point.
It might be
Marcus.
interesting enough for somebody
Yeah.
to just spectate.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a really good
Yeah,
point.
so-
Is it Beyond Two Souls or Until Dawn? Is it one of those two?
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Until Dawn was the name.
Yeah,
of
this
it.
has an Until Dawn kind of feel to it for
Right.
sure.
It essentially looks like just a live action Telltale game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, in
that's
another
essentially
sense.
what
Yeah.
it looks like.
Yeah, it's crazy
sure.
for me. Like when I was trying to research it, I look it up. I didn't think it was. I saw that picture, that live action, thumbnail.
Yeah.
In the YouTube search, I just kept scrolling down.
You're this
Like,
ain't-
where's this game at? Come on, where's this game at? I kept scrolling down because I didn't think any of those thumbnails was an
Yeah.
actual game. It looked like a TV show. Like I thought it was like, oh, there must be a TV show called Erica 2. I got to find this Erica gameplay. So I
Right.
just kept scrolling and passing it up, And then, finally I decided to click on it. And then you see the interactive aspects of it. You're like, oh, snap. And you see the little, speech bubbles, that you got to click on to like move the story forward to make
Right.
decisions. And like my first thought was VR. I totally VR.
It looked
right?
like it should be
you
VR.
open up bags, with your hand. You're watching. You could tap, your hand the scenes you want to, use to progress the game.
Right, and it kind of looked like it was like in a first-person perspective.
Yeah, it did
type
like
of
it was
view.
first person.
So it seems like it would fit really well. But I feel like that would be a lot for that game. I don't know, because I mean, if you're watching a movie in first-person perspective, like, you're taking for account, you're looking down to see like, oh, what's the color of his pants?
Yeah.
Who's moving behind me? Like, if they catch all of that, that would be pretty wicked. I would like that.
The first thing I was thinking too, I was watching this. Oh, this is totally something Marcus would get into, man. You always just fool around with these weird things like this.
Yeah, it just looks
You
like
give 'em a
something
shot.
that
You
would
give 'em a
be.
shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely give it a shot because
Yeah.
it's unique. You know what I mean? I haven't seen it like that before. I haven't played with an interactive movie. Last time I dealt with anything that was like really interactive, I was reading Goosebumps
When was
books.
the last time this happened, right? Where they made an interactive movie like this?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if it like as a full length movie. This
Probably
is a
something for a
full-length movie,
kid or
huh?
something like that. I don't
I
know.
remember on Netflix they released a couple interactive movies.
You know what? I
Yeah.
think you're right. Wasn't that like
And they're like thrillers too. I'm trying to remember the name. But they were popular for a little bit. Netflix released a couple of exclusives.
Well, you just use your TV remote to
Yeah.
interact, I guess.
Yep,
Okay,
you
that's
do
pretty
the
cool.
decisions, and then based on the
I
decisions,
wonder,
it
like,
progresses.
is there like a long pause to make a decision? Are the actors just kind of sitting there waiting for you to make a decision? Like, how does that work? Or
they're
is
just like
do they pause? Yeah, they just kind of sit there and wait and look
moving their
around.
eyebrows,
Yeah,
and just like
look
trying to
around.
figure out
It's
what
just
to do.
continuous
Waiting for you
waiting
to
loop
make a
of the
decision.
flip. Like,
I wonder if like you don't pick a choice, the system
Does
picks
it
one
just
for
move
you,
on for you?
and you could just watch a movie.
I mean, if it's anything like
Maybe it's a
Heavy
setting.
Rain, right?
Auto
It would.
Yeah, maybe it's a setting auto pick. Yeah,
Yeah, if it's anything like Heavy Rain, it would just move on to.
yeah. There's a
decision.
time limit. You got to
yeah.
pick something within a time limit.
Right.
But like
Telltale
with
use
live
that.
actors, you can't do that. They
Yeah.
can sit around and wait for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Telltale, is there a time limit on Telltale?
Yeah, like in certain scenarios, like you would get killed by something, like an enemy would be coming. There's like environmental factors that you had to decide, or something would happen.
Right.
So-
Well, there's some cool games this month. Like
Yeah.
I'm excited to play most of them. Of course, not Tomb Raider. But other than that, they gave us a couple dope games to play.
Yeah, I feel like Tomb Raider. This is like something on the Epic Store that they would be giving away for free, like some dumb game. Like,
this
hey
is
guys,
free.
take this.
No one wants it. Yeah, and then
It's like it gives no value. Like I feel like when they give
Yeah.
games like this for PlayStation Plus, it's like
slap
thanks
in
It's
for
the
just
a
something to
game that
toss
we're
in the
not gonna
library.
play. We'll
slap
add
in
it,
the face, man.
but
Yeah, like it's a good point on value, right? Like, what am I getting from my monthly subscription, right? Like
Yeah.
a game that I'm not gonna ever touch. Like that's what frustrates me. I rather them give indie games because I
Oh, yeah.
probably haven't played the indie games, right? So
Yeah.
they're at least games that I haven't played before.
Yeah.
I rather them not be like these super old, half-decade old AAAs.
But luckily they
Yeah.
gave 3. 2 of them here seem good.
Right.
Yes, so 2 of them do seem very, very good.
Yeah. And speaking of value, right? So,
Right.
I was on Twitter and I was checking out a lot of these posts. So they were mentioning Biomutant. And that was a game that, we had discussed about, and I told you guys that I was definitely interested in playing that one. And so, they were basically showing that Amazon had the collector's edition on sale, half off for
Dang.
pre-order. So
Now,
it's
was
normally,
that a fluke or was that like legitimate?
Well, I mean, it was on there, and it was on there for about, I think, 3 solid days.
Dang.
So, I looked at it and I was, glancing at it several times just to make sure I was
Yeah.
buying what I was buying. But, the original standard edition game was only $60. And then
The collectors.
when you moved to the collector's edition, it was $120. And I think the difference is that it came with a little,
$120.
Yeah,
Dang.
it came with an art book. It came with like a nice looking, box that was probably paper or something like that, and then it also came with a statue.
Cool.
I think the statue was probably
Few inches
3
high.
4 inches
Yeah.
or something like that. Nothing crazy, but it was a cool little statue. Now, when you go into like the ultimate collector's edition,
They had an
like-
ultimate edition for Biomutant.
They had an ultimate, dude.
$400.
It was $400, and it had the box was just really huge. And I think you're literally at that point you're only paying for the statue because
Wow.
the statue was of the opening gameplay, the initial gameplay trailer that they gave us,
Right.
where you're fighting like this big creature and he's got this
Yeah.
this like mace or whatever, and this little rodent guy is, you know, attacking it, and he busts through the mace. So it's literally that scene depicted on the statue. So,
That's
but
cool.
it's long, so it looked cool. It looked like a cool statue,
$400,
but is it
$400
$400 worth?
good?
Yeah.
I doubt
And I mean,
that,
you know,
right?
we talking about, you know, 300 and you know and $40 of a statue. You know what I mean? Because the game is 60. So
See, all this
340 is
information to me, when you first mentioned to you know, Markariah and myself, it was $60. I was just thinking, oh, okay, this is probably a $30 game, and they have a special edition for $60. I wasn't thinking that it was half off of $120. I wasn't thinking that.
Okay, I
I
should have
didn't
put that
know
context
that-
in the chat.
Yeah, I didn't know that Biomutant, they were thinking they were on that level. Like, I didn't think that they were, you know, that studio really thinks that they're on that $400 level. I don't know. Like, I would expect that from Bethesda with like a Fallout game or like a Horizon game, Horizon Zero Dawn game. I wouldn't expect Biomutant trying to get a $400, you know, Epic Edition out of their game. Their game is not like that well known.
Yeah.
I think this is a cash grab. I don't see enough hype.
No
I don't-
way.
I would potentially, let's say Biomutant did well. There's a second Biomutant. Sure, release a statue for an iconic character that we have grown to love. But you're selling us a $400 statue for something that could potentially be good, something potentially could be a paperweight, something that we'll see at Marshall's, TJ Maxx, because no one's going to buy it. And it's just going to,
It's like, come on, man. At first glance, when you watch this game and it's coming out for PS5, I honestly think indie game. Like, when I watch
agree.
it, my first thought jumps to an indie game. It does not jump to a AAA title.
So I mean,
Spider-Man or Horizon Zero Dawn makes a AAA title.
So I mean, the studio that developed Biomutant is Experiment 101. And I believe that
Never
was
even heard
a
of them.
really small studio. So that was an indie studio. Now it did get purchased, or is at least in conjunction with THQ Nordic. So that's a larger studio, which, I mean, maybe they were able to, you know, give more bodies to make it a greater product.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you know, when you first saw it mentioned and whatnot, you're thinking, you know, maybe it's indie. But at the same time, I wasn't thinking it was fully indie because of how good it did look when I saw it. It didn't feel like it was indie graphic quality. It felt like it was a little bit more than that.
Right.
But, you know, definitely, you know, when you're looking at something, you know, where they're giving, you know, the statues and stuff like that, a $400 version.
Yeah,
it definitely seems like a move of a smaller studio where they're just like putting out the pre-order. So if you want it, hey, we got a place that we make these statues at where we can get them, where we can buy them for a good price. But this is how much it's going to cost because we're a small studio. We can't afford this shit. So we can't make it cheaper.
My first thought is that they're trying to get more out of the people that are excited for their game, like Mark is saying. Like, it's a cash grab.
So you think it's strictly a cash grab?
I think that they don't think they're going to get the numbers that they were hoping for after the years of development. So they're trying to come up with ways to glean a few extra bucks off the people that are excited. But there isn't enough hype around this game to have a $400 statue.
Because if the collector's edition already was 50% off before the game already came out on Amazon, I think that just tells it all.
It's a great point.
The game's
it's not
cash
there.
grab.
But hey, for $60, it was, I think, a good buy.
Great deal.
Like, the deal you got, I think, was a good buy because you're getting all those free statues for
Plus the
$60.
And at the same
Right,
time,
so that it made sense grabbing that.
Right, and at the same time, it was only for a small period of time.
Right.
It was not like
Super
it's
short
now
window.
this price.
Yeah,
it's not
super
the
short
120
window.
joint is $60 now.
That's what I thought.
So it's almost as if like they originally had came up with the prices in their head, and they're like, okay, $60 for the standard edition. We're gonna make people drop $120 for this one with the little mini statue, and then boom, we hit them across the head with the $400. But then they were thinking like,
I mean, this
okay,
is more than
well,
the Mamba edition of 2K21.
Right. But I mean, I could see them looking at it and they're like, dang, you know, we haven't really put a lot of stuff out, you know, for Biomutant. We don't have a whole lot of hype. Maybe we can check and see if we can get some more pre-orders for this. You know, maybe get some more eyes on it. So yeah, you know, I just think that it was probably one of those things where they wanted more pre-orders. So they were like, you know, this price isn't gonna
Right.
cut it. So for
That's
the
smart.
the pre-orders, we're just gonna give them this statue for free, and then everybody else who does want the statue and they didn't catch it on the steal, and you know maybe we worked something out with Amazon Prime, you know, they'll just have to pay the 120 for it if
Right.
they really wanted the statue. And I think that was, you know, that's understandable. You know what I mean? Especially if you know, you don't want to be like, you know, on Bethesda with, you know, the Fallout 76 where you're giving trash, you know, vinyl bags or whatever when you
Dude,
promise,
that was
you
a
know,
mistake.
certain other
I
type
think
of
we
bags
haven't
and
seen a
stuff.
lot of these $400 deals since then because of that.
Right.
Now, Biomutants jumping on board of this, I don't know. I guess disaster wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there will probably be a couple, but I literally think it's there just for the people that really liked the artwork or something.
I guess.
And they had a possibility for one. They probably made one at their studio and was like, hey, let's just put it up there as an option if people want to buy it.
Yeah. Well,
But
for
yeah.
me, it's like, you know, I'm gonna move on from this. Did y'all catch the box art for a game we all really want to play? Spider-Man Miles Morales. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I caught the box art for it. I was a little confused because everywhere where I was seeing it, it seemed like people were just rendering things themselves and that it wasn't the actual box art that Sony presented themselves. So I'm still, you know, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I don't know if that's, you know, what it is, but I mean, it looks good. I mean, you know,
Right.
the PS4 box art looked great for, you know, the Spider-Man, and this one, it just has the white banner at the top.
Looks
and
good.
if
The
it's
white
still in
and
the
the
blue
black.
casing,
The black letters with
looks
the white
good.
banner.
yeah. So, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, right, I could care less what the damn box look like. I want the game. I care
Well,
about
yeah,
the
I
game.
have some questions about the game based on the box. What do you think, Mark?
I like the white and black banner. It was the blue from the jewel case the same as the blue.
It
Yes.
looked, it was a little darker actually. I
Darker?
saw some people comparing the two, and the PS5 is a slightly darker blue.
Huh.
Okay.
It's the same kind of like blue, but it's a little darker.
Oh, so a little bit more translucent.
a little
then?
less translucent.
Got it.
The
So
PS5
the
was
PS4
a little,
is a little more translucent blue than the
Oh.
PS5 boxes.
okay.
But
Yeah,
overall,
it's a
I
little
mean,
darker.
the box art now is really nice on the PS4.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they kept with it. And then they just did the white on black. That looks nice and clean.
I like the
and
white
it
on black.
matches
It
everything
matches the
perfect.
Xbox. I mean the PS5.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. It matches the
Yeah.
Xbox. I mean the PlayStation 5. So it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it.
What was going on with him? Was that fire in his fist?
That was lightning.
So I didn't know Spider-Man had lightning powers.
No, Miles Morales has lightning.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't even know that.
So in the opening trailer, right, in the introduction trailer that they gave for Spider-Man Miles Morales, he was pressing up against something, and you saw, if you looked, you saw like lightning
Yes.
around his
I thought someone
arms.
was shooting him with that.
That was him.
Okay.
So it was him, you know, using
Because his
power
whole
on
suit was getting tore up.
Yeah.
Like he was holding
it was
back
getting
some
shredded,
kind of force.
but it was the
It looked
same.
like he was trying to hold back some kind of enemy or force, but that was just him destroying his own suit.
No, I think it was probably a combo. It was
Okay.
probably the force, and then him probably using some
Okay.
electricity to
Okay,
kind of
so
push
that
it back.
was the
but-
disconnect for me then.
Yeah, but Miles Morales in comic books has always had electric shock.
Now, why is
And-
that? Was that
and,
the spider that bit him had electric powers?
I believe that's what they put it to.
Okay.
I'm not too in deep with the Miles Morales comics,
Right.
but I do know that he had the ability to become like invisible.
Huh.
So he had like a camouflage ability, and then he had like electrocuting powers.
Okay.
So,
Well,
but
that's
that
cool.
was the difference, you know, between him and Spider-Man completely. It wasn't
Okay.
just like, oh, it's another Spider-Man. It's like, nah, this dude had electric abilities, you know, that he could send through a web.
So he's way different
that's,
than
like, a
Peter,
lot of
huh?
stuff that
Way
can-
different than Peter.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that's cool. I mean, the box art looked wonderful to me. I love the white banner with the black text. I think it's gonna look super clean in the shelving where you store your games
Yeah,
at.
for sure.
But I guess what we can talk about now is what do we think we're paying for these games?
$70.
Do you think so, Mark?
I think when we saw the NBA 2K21
Yeah.
pricing,
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of can extend across the next gen, in my opinion. So I think we're gonna pay $70, guys.
Yeah, I feel like once one person does it, then
the
it's
gateway-
just everybody's gonna
gates are
adopt
open.
it. Oh well, they already popped the cherry on that one, so we're just gonna go ahead and make our 72. And there's been like a couple of other games that I feel they would make it so that you'd want to buy that PS5 version, not even mess with the PS4 version.
Really?
I don't know.
Like, here's the thing, man. Like, I got so much to say about this topic. It's like, for one, all the media outlets I look at, like, that are writing articles, making videos on this, are all talking about how, like, it's time. Like, if you compare inflation rates with other mediums of entertainment, like movie tickets.
Movie tickets have gone way up.
Yeah, but here's the difference. There's such a major difference that none of these outlets talk about. Is these game developers have found so many ways to make money inside the game. If anything,
with microtransactions.
If anything, games should be going backwards in price, and because they make so much in the game. The games that make the most money are the free ones, like Fortnite.
Right.
Like all these free games are what make the big bucks, not the games that charge $60. They make good money, but the ones that are making the most are the ones with the best transactions inside the game. The game that people want to, as a service, gaming as a service. So for me, the pricing of games should be going in the other direction. It should be going lower. And you see that with a lot of games. If a game comes out brand new and I just wait a couple months, I can get it for $40 on sale.
Right.
Like games go backwards in price, not forwards. Like, so I do not buy into this whole it's behind in inflation. That is hogwash. They've inflated the cost they've inflated the ways in which you can spend money on their game. Right, that's where the inflation has been, where you can spend money on the game through DLCs, through microtransactions, all these additional ways to spend money in the game. They've inflated along with the rest of the industries.
Yeah, but at the same time, right, not every game is involving the aspect of microtransactions. I don't see Ghost of Tsushima having microtransactions in their game.
I do. Why not? They can sell certain dyes, or they can sell certain looks for Jin. You can find all different sorts of ways to make money off your product that doesn't involve increasing the entry into your product. You should be trying to find more ways to get people to buy the product, not making the point of entry harder.
So you would want a game that just has like maybe some basic textures or whatnot for gear, and then like 90% of the gear to be microtransactions, but you bought it at like $30.
Well, I don't know where you got 90%. I don't know what
because
percentage.
they're gonna want their money somehow.
They can have, but it depends. 10% of 1,000 is a lot of looks in game, right? 10% of 10 is not, but 10% of 1,000, that's a lot of looks in the game for free. And then if 90% of them are microtransactions, that's fine. But if I'm getting 100 unique individual looks in the game, I might be fine with that. It depends on what the 10% is that I'm getting, right? I don't need them to put, I don't need 1,000 different looks. I don't need that. But if they want to make some extra money and they want to put in a few hundred extra looks on the marketplace, I don't begrudge them that at all. And anyone who wants to buy those looks can buy them. And there will be lots of people who do buy those looks. And that's where they make up the additional revenue that they're looking to get, rather than charging more for the point of entry.
I don't know. I feel like after a certain period of time, right, it wouldn't just become like looks and and colorways and different things like that. I feel like they would start pinching on the gameplay, like the content.
I disagree, because this is why
start putting certain things.
I disagree.
Do we look at Bungie?
Because there's no way. This is why I disagree. There's no way we can hold them accountable. What I mean by that is, if they charge me 60 or 70, there's no way of me knowing what they put into that game more.
No,
because it's all done behind a curtain. It's all done in the developing lab. I don't know that they're giving me 10 additional more looks for that 10, but I don't know that.
But you also know that the prices for their game developers and stuff like that has gone up. Their salaries have increased. just by natural inflation. So
yeah, so you get those costs back in marketplaces. That's how you gain those costs back.
what I think should be like the way that they do the games. I feel like they should do it like how CDs used to be done. Like I don't, you mean, you used to buy CDs, right? When they first release, right? Even movies, DVDs, when they first release, they're like, maybe $10, $12. And then once you wait past that initial week where they wanted to get their first week's numbers in, then all of a sudden you try to find the CD, it's like $20. It's like $25 for a CD.
What I'm saying is
so if you bought it for like $40, $50 initially, and then after the first, week or two, then it's $70.
There's no way to glean more money off a CD. When I go to the store and buy a CD in the store, there's no way for the company that produced that CD to get any more out of that than just the CD itself. So that's why that has inflation, right? Because the CD itself can't produce any more value. A video game can. They can put internal micro markets into the game. And I don't want pay to win, but giving people more options and more choices, gaming as a service, that people want to pay money for, that is how you produce more money on your game. That's where the big bucks are. Not charging $10 additional in the game. That's not where the big bucks are at. The big bucks are at are in micro markets.
Yeah, personally for me, I know how much does the developer actually get from these brick and mortar sales. So if Walmart is selling the game for $70, the developer is getting maybe $2-3 on that increase, maybe $2 if they're lucky. So I feel like it's not a good move because we're not getting much value as a customer. Like when NBA 2K21 on the PS4 is 60, but on the PS5 is 70. It's like, where's that value? Like he was saying, how are we holding them accountable?
Right.
Like, is this disc like magic? Like, is it cost more to print on this PS5 disc? No, I thought about this. I was like, maybe the disc costs more. But no, let's face it. You pop in the disc, it just has a unique identifier in the disc.
It's still Blu-ray.
And then you download,
different.
the whole game. So they can't say like we're putting more content on the disc because you download everything these days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they putting manuals back in the boxes? Like, how are we getting this $10? How are we paying for this $10? So I agree with Ray that I think games should be coming down. If you want to charge $70 for a game, your game better have all the content. I don't want to be paying for stuff
DLC.
After the fact. I don't want no DLC. And I feel like nowadays they're trying to do best of both worlds. They want to charge you $70, and then they want to sell you everything under the sun as if they were a free game. And I feel like it can't. You could do one or other. You pay $70, there's no DLCs, or it's free, and you charge me for all these little components you want to do. I hate seeing both. So for me, I want to keep the price as low as possible because all the developers are double dipping, and for a consumer, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it's weird how the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X can go down in price. Why? Because they want people to enter into the realm. It's the point of entry you want to keep cheap. Once someone's inside, now is when you start charging them all the things inside, right? It's why they don't charge you a fee. Oftentimes, they don't charge you a fee, right, to enter the arcade, right? But now once you're inside the arcade, now they're charging you to play all the little games and to take advantage of that game or that game, but not to get in. The point of entry is free, right? So trying to get in, they should be wanting people to get in.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is by lowering the point of entry. And then once people get in, you find ways inside, right, for people for them to make the money. I think that's the way that's the marketing of the future. I think that's evident in all the free to play games that make tons of money that everyone's playing. I think that's the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even when you look at mobile games, right?
Yeah, mobile games is a
tons
great
of mobile
example.
games, and I know I download, lots of them, almost like maybe 2 or 3, every like 2 months or something like that just to play. And, I'll toss $1 in there every now and again. This is something that, you offered for free. So everybody is willing to put it on their phone at any point in time. And, $1 from 50,000 people, you know what I mean, you make a good profit.
It adds up, and people are paying a lot more than $1.
Yeah.
Some people are paying a lot of money.
Yeah, skins are like $3, $4.
It incentivizes you to want to make a good game, because then people want to spend money on that game. Like, the better the game is, like World of Warcraft, like I've spent in-game money in World of Warcraft. Hearthstone's completely free. I spend money on that all the time. Right? Why not make Ghost of Tsushima like, free, and then every few months you have DLC content you add in that people pay for, right? To keep like the subscription kind of going. And that way you collect a lot off people over time rather than a big lump sum right up front. Like people feel like they're getting something for their money, like kind of like what Mark was saying. Like, I guarantee they ain't gonna give me any more content, and there's no way to hold me accountable for that. They would give me the same amount of content for Ghost, whether I'm paying $60 or $70 for it. It's gonna be the same amount.
I mean, how'd you feel when the first price increase happened?
I didn't like it then either. I hated it then. I remember bucking the horse then. 50 was, well, I thought was plenty, for a video game. And then 60 came along, and it stayed at 60 for a long time, so that made me happy. It hasn't gone up for a long time until now, because they found creative ways of making money that other industries don't have. The music industry doesn't really have a lot of creative ways. There's nothing to enter in. You take the music, and that's it. There's nothing that people are entering into play. There is nothing like that. So yeah, I get why prices of CDs are going up, and I get why the prices of movies are going up. But games shouldn't be that way. I think we're proving that. And then we're going to move on right now to our final topic, Mortal Shell. And Mark is saying, how much is that game going to be?
So Mortal Shell right now, you can pre-order on the Epic Store for $29.99. Now,
$30 game.
$30 game. And
Mark's played it.
Yeah, so I'm currently playing the beta right now. And I just want to say that, things like this give me hope. Playing games like this, because this is an indie game. Right. So they don't have a brick and mortar copy yet. They might announce it, but it's my understanding, because it's digital, they're getting a higher cut. Right. So this $30, so when you buy a game in the store for $60, the developer will be lucky if they get 30 of that 60. The store, like, there's so many logistics, there's so many pieces of the pie. But when you buy a digital game from directly, from them, yeah, they're getting more of the cut. So
and in NBA 2K21 is going to charge you that $70 on the Epic Game Store or whatever, and it's costing them a lot less. It doesn't make sense. Garbage.
Yeah, it's not right. It's not right. But luckily, there's a lot more channels now. Before you could only go to the store, then PlayStation and Xbox, you could buy it directly from them on a digital store. Now there's Steam, there's Epic, there's so many markets now. So I feel like
avenues of getting games.
Yeah, there's so many avenues for getting games now. I feel like that will be like the true dictator of price, because a lot of these stores, they give games away for free. They run sales. Steam just had the summer sale where they're offering coupons. You spend $30, you get $5 off. So I feel like in these little ecosystems, those will be the true market value of the games. Right. These developers can try to charge, all they want in the store and things, but ultimately, when your game is giving away for free within a year on PlayStation Plus, I think that tells your customer how much your game is actually worth. So,
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, right? I kind of look at video games in the sense of like Jordans. Right, like Jordans used to be like $160 for a pair of Jordan 1s, and I think their regular price was like $190 for certain models as they went up. But then I think it was like a year or two ago, and they decided to go ahead and up it $10. And so it's like, well, damn, what am I getting with this $10? Like, why are you just charging me 10? And they go, oh, it's remastered, quality, like there's we're giving better. It. But there's shoes that some look like they have really good leather, and there's some that just, the synthetic leather, it's not even as good as the OGs. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you have to look at it as like, if people want it, they're gonna buy it. and it's it's like supply and demand. Like you got
People
no
will
choice.
buy less games, man. People will buy less games.
Well,
Like they'll buy fewer games.
If that happens, right? I mean, already with games being at $60 for as long as they've been at, right? You have to pick and choose what you want to just drop on. You know what I mean? Because you buy 2 games, you already at $130 dang near, with taxes and stuff. So, so if 2 games are coming out, just like, this Friday, you got Paper Mario, that one's 60, and you got Ghost of Tsushima, that's 60. Well, I'm not about to buy both of them at the same time. I'm about to buy Ghost, and then I'm gonna just wait. I'll catch I'll catch Paper Mario, maybe Black Friday or something. Maybe there's a deal on that, or I'll just catch it later when I got time. But there's
gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot fewer games that are gonna be day one, hour one, that I would buy
just because of price.
Yeah. Like it's just a fact of life, And so like I would much rather them go the other direction, lower the price of games, and then offer more buying opportunities inside the game.
And there may be it may be one of those things where like 2K21 is just testing the waters right now, just to see what's going on, and see if people are willing to pay for it. And that's not one of those. I don't feel like it's one of those games that should set the tone because of what they entered with, giving the Mamba Forever version, and then, making it so like PS5 is, 70 and the PS4 is 60. Like at the end of the day, if the game is playable on the PS5 as a PS4 disc, I'll just get the PS4 disc unless the graphics are just crazy different.
Yeah, I mean, like with the Mamba edition, $100, you see the difference of what you're getting, right? You see the base model, art. And you see, but there's something that you see that separates it, and then you as a consumer make that decision.
Right.
If that additional thing that you want, that cover art is worth
cover
$30
art,
to you.
I think in-game currency is normally in those legendary editions.
Right. They give you something for it, and you as a consumer make the decision. Just upping the price doesn't leave me any decision. I don't know if I'm getting anything more.
Yeah, it is what it is at that point.
It is what it is.
You're taking it for face value.
Yeah, you're taking it for face value. Where like that's what's frustrating is like they say, like you were saying with shoes, oh yeah, it's better, more high quality. There's no way for you to confirm or deny that. But I can understand shoes going up in price because there is no other way for them to make more money on that shoe apart from just selling that shoe. Like I guess you could try to find ways like selling laces, or you might sell accessories for the shoes to try to glean more off that shoe. But it's harder, right? It's harder to make money off the shoe itself. Right. The shoe itself is all it is.
Yeah, it's a one-time
video
sale.
Game isn't all it is because it's online. You can mold it, you can change it, you can add to it. Once I buy that shoe and I walk out the store with it, Nike can't do anything more for me for it, right? They can't do anything else for me. But a video game's different, right?
Yeah. Because even like on the secondary market, let's say Marcus lets me borrow a game, I could pop it up, open it,
and use microtransactions.
Oh, I like this game. Let me buy the DLC. Oh, I like this game. Let me buy some skins. So yeah, it's a constant shop that's always available. So
I think it's just poor decision making for them, because I'm gonna be even less inclined to want to buy anything on their store now.
Yeah, but just imagine this, right? So all these rumors, the Xbox Series S potentially $199 or potentially $250. Just imagine the games are $70 and the system is $200.
That's boggling, right?
That's nuts. So
that's boggling.
Almost a third of the price of the system.
Yeah. So I mean, we shall see. We'll see what really happens. I see in the next couple months, we'll definitely know.
We'll know for certain this couple months.
Hopefully the community, if they're not happy about it, hopefully the devs and, the right people hear it. People aren't happy and they can make that decision not to go a certain way. But, ultimately it's their decision. But hopefully.
Right. We'll see.
Hopefully.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully there's some transparency. We know what we're getting, but I doubt there will be.
Yeah. But on that note, we're going to go ahead, head out of here.
Yeah. So, this has been a great time.
Yeah. So, once again, I'm Godly Sovereign.
This is Markariah.
This is Ray, a.k.a. Sirknight.
Yeah, and thank you for listening to the We Love Gaming podcast. Check us out on Twitter, Podbean, Spotify if y'all listening on there. Our Discord. We have a website up now, so check us out. Get with us.
Yeah, search us.
Later.
All right, peace.